All right, let's start with a big one. Who are you really? Is your identity something you build yourself from the inside out, or is it just something society hands to you? Today, we're diving into a fascinating clash of ideas that gets right to the very heart of that question.
And we're going to be digging into a classic paper by Robert Golding, which sets up this incredible showdown between two absolute heavyweights. On one side, you've got Sigmund Freud, and on the other, well, pretty much the entire field of sociology.
So here's the game plan. We'll kick things off with the main conflict, the individual versus society. Then we'll check out sociology's very neat and tidy answer. After that, we'll see how Freud just comes in and messes everything up. We'll get into how the self is actually put together, what happens when it all falls apart, and wrap up with a really powerful thought about the unconquered part of you.
Okay, so let's set the stage. This is really a tale of two theories. You've got the immense power of the group, of society on one side, and on the other, you have the deep, dark mysteries of your own individual mind. I mean, this is a real intellectual showdown for the ages.
So let me ask you this directly. Are you just a product of your culture? I mean, really think about it. Are all your beliefs, your values, your personality, is it all just an echo of the world you happen to be born into? Well, sociology has a very clear answer to that. Okay, so here are the two big ideas we're looking at. The sociological view is basically society shapes you. Simple. You're a reflection of what's on the outside. But then you have the psychoanalytic view, which says, no, you are shaped by your own internal conflicts. Your identity isn't just given to you. It's this hard-won thing, an achievement literally built from loss. And yeah, these two ways of looking at it could not be further apart.
All right, let's start with sociology's side of the story. You could call it the tidy answer, because it's clean, it's logical, and honestly, it's been super influential.
The core idea here, the sociological axiom, is that the individual is a product of society. And for a lot of sociologists, this isn't just a theory, it's the bedrock truth. The argument goes that without society, we wouldn't have language or history or any real sense of meaning, no real identity to speak of. We'd basically just be animals.
So you might be wondering, how does this actually happen? Well, the key mechanism is something called internalization. Think of it like a cultural download. All the norms, the values, the rules of your society, they get absorbed right into your personality. Its rules become your rules, and boom, you're a functioning member of the group.
And this is where it gets really fascinating. The sociologist Talcott Parsons goes and borrows, you could even say he hijacks, one of Freud's own famous concepts, the superego. See, for Freud, the superego was this complex internal battle. But Parsons, he rebrands it. For him, the superego is just a bridge that connects your personality to the whole social system. It's the very tool that makes that cultural download possible.
Okay, but Freud would have had a huge problem with that. I mean, a massive one. For him, that whole tidy explanation just scratches the surface. The real story? Oh, it's way darker, way deeper, and a lot messier.
See, psychoanalysis throws a wrench in the whole thing by focusing on something sociology tends to gloss over, the unconscious. You can think of it like the hidden basement of your mind. It's full of all this stuff, primal desires, old conflicts, things you've repressed from when you were a kid. And Freud says that's the real engine driving who you are.
And here is the absolute heart of the disagreement. Remember how Parsons said the superego connects us to society? Well, Freud completely flips that. He claims the superego is a precipitate of the id. And the id, that's our most raw, primal, instinctual self. The part of us that just wants what it wants, right now. So get this, for Freud, your conscience isn't born from society's rules. It's forged in the fire of the battle with your own inner animal.
And what does that mean? It means our inner compass, our conscience, isn't just tuned to what's happening right now. No, Freud is saying it carries the echoes of a much deeper past. The traditions, the family history, the things we push down, all of that lives on inside us. It's this powerful force that's way more personal and potent than just the social rules of the day.
Okay, so if we're not just downloading society's software, then how in the world is the self actually built? Well, Freud's answer is, it's a bit poetic, actually. It's all about loss, fantasy, and identification.
The way Freud saw it is really incredible. It all starts with loss. You lose someone or something you love. Then, to deal with that pain, your ego, your I, does something amazing. It kinda takes that lost person inside of you. You identify with them. And then here's the kicker. Your self is rebuilt based on a fantasized image of that person. So your identity isn't based on objective reality, but on a fantasy you created from loss.
So think about what this means. Your identity isn't something you just passively absorb. It's a hard-won achievement. It's something you have to actively build, often through the painful process of giving up things you want and holding on to the memories of what you've lost. It is an achievement, not a passive download. Big difference.
Now, as you can imagine, building your entire self out of loss and fantasy is, well, it's a fragile process. It's really, really difficult. So what happens when it goes wrong, when that process breaks down? Well, the paper connects this breakdown to a very specific and very modern kind of psychological problem.
Golding brings up something called the schizoid condition. And right away, let's be clear, this has nothing to do with schizophrenia. It's a term for a personality structure where someone feels this massive, painful split between their real inner self and the mask or the false self they have to show to everyone else.
And the features of this they're pretty intense. A feeling of being empty inside, like nothing really matters. They can seem really cold and distant to other people, but it's because they've retreated from the world into their own inner fantasy. There's this crippling fear that love, or their own need for it, is so powerful it could actually destroy the person they love. So what do? They build a wall. It's the ultimate tragic conflict between that fragile inner self and the pressures of the outside world.
Okay, so this all brings us to the final big idea, the powerful conclusion of this whole argument. After all this messy, internal, conflict-driven stuff from Freud, what does it ultimately say about us and our place in society?
Golding pulls out this amazing quote from the critic Lionel Trilling that just nails it. The idea is that, quote, culture is not all-powerful, that there is a residue of human quality beyond the reach of cultural control. In other words, the very fact that we have this messy, complicated inner life proves that society can't own all of us. There's always a part left over.
And that's the bottom line. No matter how strong the pressures of society are, we never fully submit. There's always a part of us that resists, that stays a little bit wild, a little bit untamed. That inner world of ours, our history, our desires, it keeps us from just becoming cultural robots.
So that's the question I want to leave you with. If it's true, if culture isn't all-powerful, and if there's a piece of you that always resists being shaped from the outside, what is that unconscious